A New Year's tragedy unfolding in New Orleans earlier this morning.
Multiple people are dead, and at least 30 have been hospitalized after a car plowed into the crowd.
Yeah, tragic. Chanley Painter joins us now. Chanley, what do we know so far?
Yeah, it is a developing story, but we have confirmed that at least 10 people are dead after a car drove into a large crowd celebrating New Year's on Canal and Bourbon Street. At least another 30 people had to be hospitalized. This all happening just hours ago on undoubtedly one of the busiest nights of the year, with New Year's and the Sugar Bowl taking place later today. Right now, there's still a huge police presence at the scene, including the FBI, the coroner's office, and the mayor also said to be at that scene. Now, the driver reportedly got out of the vehicle and fired a weapon. Police are said to have returned fire. No word yet at this point on the state of the suspect responsible. Witnesses telling local reporters, though, they heard some loud banging and then looked outside and there were bodies on the floor. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry posting this moments ago on X. A horrific act of violence took place on Bourbon Street earlier this morning. Please join Sharon and I in praying for all the victims and first responders on the scene. I urge all near the scene to avoid the area. And like I said, this is developing. I'm constantly checking my phone with updates as we're learning from the New Orleans police. We expect a press conference soon, guys.
All right, Chanley Painter, thank you very much. Bring us more news as you get it. This is frightening stuff. New Orleans is a party town. I had a roommate in college, from New Orleans, and we spent a lot of great times there during the college years at Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest and stuff. But the mindset, if you've ever been there, is, it's like Las Vegas. You're just all in, all party. And so it's interesting, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry tweeting out, I urge all, near the scene to take precaution, clear the area, which can sometimes be a little more difficult in a city that's used to just partying. Now this horrific tragedy unfolding as you look at the images of the crime scene here happening just literally hours ago.
Yeah, we talk all the time about this city, New York City, and crime, what happens on the subway and these horrific things that happen on the streets, people being randomly punched or shot. New Orleans is one of the cities that has been hit worst by this, what we would call a crime epidemic. In 2019, I went to the Sugar Bowl and walked around Bourbon Street, then the entire French Quarter. I didn't think twice about it. Bunch of football fans. Nothing felt unsafe or dangerous or even, bad in any way. And then by the time I revisited at a different time of year in 2022, I was told, hey, you want to stay in the Garden District and don't be in the French Quarter at night. That's how much it had turned to the worst. And here's a very tragic example of that right there in New Orleans.
Well, the city was hit really bad with tourism with the COVID lockdowns, and they really had a hard time recovering. But there are great people there with energy, and I'm sure they had a lot of people traveling there to be there. The festivities looked like they were absolutely beautiful. As we first heard about this story earlier today, I had so many questions. Well, what happened? Is this a drunk driver that inadvertently went off the road and accidentally hit? But then when you started hearing about the gunfire and realizing that this probably was intentional that now they've killed 10 people, 30 still in hospital. We don't know if any more are going to die. I mean, it's devastating, and it's certainly not news that you want to bring in the new year. But this is the reality that cities all across the country are facing right now: the high crimes, economic instability, and people are just not in a good place, which is why, looking forward to 2025, people are beginning to feel hopeful that things are going to turn around with the promises that President-elect Trump is making and the plans that he has for the country on how to get crime under control and really try to boost our economic sector.
Yeah, and, thank goodness that law enforcement, first responders were working and able to respond. As you can see on our screen, we know so far at this moment, a developing story, 10 dead, 30 hurt after a car plowed into the crowd. And as you mentioned, Nicole, shots were exchanged between the police and those that carried this out. Will bring you more as we get it.